Hey, this is Gil here. So over the past few months, I've been interviewing candidates from around the valley. Some friends, some individuals I just highly admire and respect, and others were complete strangers. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak to them and hear their vision for the boards that they are running for. But about 2 months ago, I did one with three candidates: Arevalo, JB Hamby, and Katie Burnworth. And I want to wrap it up, these interviews, and as we get about a week, just a little over a week from election day, to bring it back to them and hear their thoughts on their campaigns and their, just hear them out and speak with them. Because these three individuals I'm not only supporting, but they are what I consider friends. In the world of politics, locally, statewide, nationally, there are very few friends. It's not something it's a term that I don't use lightly. I have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of cool people I'm cool with, but the word friend to me means a lot. It's trust, it's cooperation, it's honesty, it's pushing each other. And these three help me embody that and help me. And so I'm not just supporting them because they're my friends and everything that encompasses that term, but also their character, their work ethic, their vision, their commitment to their communities, and what I believe they will bring to their respective boards. So my support is not just because I like them and I can trust them and I enjoy talking to them. It's because I know if elected, they will work extremely hard for their communities and help bring everyone up. So I want to bring it back home to them, and just one final interview before the big day next Tuesday. So for those in Heber, Sealy, and the El Centro area, please vote for JB Hamby for IID Division 2. For those in the vote in the El Centro Elementary School District, please vote for Arevalo. And for those in the city of Imperial, please vote for Katie Burnworth. You can just go on the Facebook pages and see where they stand on issues, their vision, their mission, and what they hope to bring to the community. With that being said, I hope you enjoy this final interview that I did, and just hope you learn and just something to listen to during all of this. So thank you all for tuning in, for listening, and remember, if you haven't already done so, please vote Tuesday, November 3rd. Enjoy. All right, welcome. We're 10 days away, right?
9.
Okay. Welcome. We're 9 days away from election, 6 days away from Halloween. This pirate filter that I'll take off right now. Anyways, I'm here with JB Hamby, Katie Burnworth, and Arevalo. I thought it was kind of cool. We kind of kicked off the campaign season a while back with all of us talking. So I thought to wrap it up and just one final thing, push out there. I thought it'd be cool to bring us back together. So I'm gonna ask you guys all about what's your thoughts on this whole campaign season, what you've learned, what you haven't liked, and we'll start with JB. How's this whole? Yeah, you should probably go last. I think you got the most to share, but we'll start with you first, JB. How's this whole campaign season been for you?
Oh, it's so smooth, so easy. I'm so ready. I'm just so disappointed it's stopping in 9 days. Just kidding. No, it's been, as of tomorrow, October 26th, it'll be a year since I started campaigning, or at least that we kicked off the campaign publicly. We started a little bit before that. But October 26th, 2019 to October 26th, 2020, it's been a full year coming to a close in 9 days. And there's been a lot of ups and some downs too, but overall it's been a pretty amazing and interesting experience that in some ways, certainly wish you wouldn't have to go through the whole campaign experience, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that are going to be very valuable serving in the role I think we're all going to be serving in, that you wouldn't get otherwise unless you put yourself out in this very odd way, which is a campaign. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it being over after a year. But in many ways, if we're fortunate enough to be elected by the people of El Centro, Heber, and Sealy, the sort of activity and being out there and being within reach al alcance will not end. It'll only really be the beginning. But yeah, so I'll pass off the mic.
Well done. Yeah.
The
So,
marsupial.
Katie, that brings us to you. Have we, what? Sorry.
I can't even look at you right
now. Yeah, I need to take that off. That brings us to you, Katie. And how'd your campaign? I mean, this is your first time running. How's this whole? I guess before I start, someone commented on the last video, like, I want to hear more about where they stood on issues. You guys have made your positions very clear on many issues on your Facebook pages, through other interviews, through local media. So visit your anyone watching, visit their Facebook pages for more info on where they stand. This is just kind of fun and just to talk a little bit. So Katie, first time running, how's this whole campaign been for you?
It's been such a learning experience. Like, even just down to the financial paperwork that you have to do. That is, I mean, I feel like they need to give a way better training on it, because I'm like, whoa, this is, I mean, I see Andrew shaking his head, like, it's super confusing. And then just, I mean, it's really hard, you know, it's been hard, but learning, you get a lot of, you see where like the existing council's source dots are, you know, and you just like, sometimes you'll post something and you just see them like explode, and it's kind of funny, you know, but it's been good. It's been really humbling, kind of like eye-opening for me. But for me, like, it's so not my style, because I would rather go get work done and let my work speak for it. So me stepping out and campaigning and actually having to talk, like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to make the parks better. I want to make, you know, those abandoned developments go away. And you sit back and, you know, of course, like, my wheels are turning, like, oh, if elected, I'm going to do, you know, A, B, and C, but I'm not going to start working on A, B, C yet, because what if I don't get elected, you know? Or, you know, what if I start on it right now and, you know, my opponents, you know, jump on that and take it. So it's just this really weird, I feel like it's a 3-month job interview is the best way I can explain it. So
A very long, expensive one.
Yes, you know, it's been good. You know, we've had some sign taggings. I think that's something everybody does, and it's, people don't realize that those cost money, and it just really irritates you. It doesn't really say anything. It just really gets on your nerves more than anything when somebody tags on your sign. But yeah, just good learning overall, and way out of my comfort zone on a lot of things. But I definitely think I'm better for it. So
I think I got you. I one-upped you on the sign tagging. We had a sign covered in feces, which I think takes a cake there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to follow up on that. No, yeah, you're right. I was just talking to someone about signage and how I'm like, yeah, no one's like, it's not like no one's vote is swayed by a sign. So when you hear like yours get stolen,
Yeah.
it's inconsequential, but like you don't want that you don't want that moral, the person who stole it or pooped on it, have that moral victory. Have that moral victory. You don't like, right? It's like I have to go put a sign up, maybe even 2, just to send a message, you know, to those who, that's tough. That's tough. Andrew, Andrew. So what about you, man? How's this? You've been talk of the town, man. You've just kind of been taking this whole thing by storm. How's this been for you, man?
Sir, can you please rephrase the question? No, I've had a fun time with it, right? I'm at the tail end. We're all at the tail end. So, you know, it's a lot more fun right now. I'm definitely not as stressed as I initially was. So as a first-time candidate, you know, I have experience in literally touring the nation, traveling across the U.S., speaking at different educational conferences. And I can do that well, right? I just this morning, I woke up, I had a session for Q at 9 a.m., had teachers from across the U.S. in my session, and it was like just so smooth, like just right in my element, right? But stepping into our local political limelight is its own beast, right? Where you go anywhere, and people recognize you. You're under the microscope 24/7, and people are waiting for you to slip up, whether that's a grammar mistake or any little tiny error. And at this point, just kind of reflecting back on the past couple of months, it's definitely been eye-opening to step up. But at the same time, I've had a great time just jumping forward with this. I've had a lot of support, obviously, from you who are here, and then my father, right? And just like a little while ago, my father was up on the Bruchery, getting one of my signs before it went into the Bruchery, into the intersection, and went on a car. He was like flapping like that. I'm like, Dad, take care of this, please, before it goes into a car or something, right? So at this point, it's the tail end. I've had a great time. I've learned every single day. I'm still learning, just like Katie mentioned earlier with the paperwork, the 460. Oh my gosh, that was intense. I remember being on the phone with the FPPC, literally to the point where the lady was like, "Sir, we cannot help you anymore." And I was like, "What do you mean? like, I need help. That's why I'm calling." And she was like so irritated because I was asking her like so many questions, and then she was like, I'll call you back later. I'll call you back later. And I was like, all right. So she ended up calling me back and helping me. But, it just kind of speaks to this whole, commitment of, we may not always know the exact, precise directive, but I think all of us are pushing forward in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the challenges. Thankfully, I haven't had any theses on my signs, but
Plus.
but nonetheless, it has definitely been fun. And I'm hoping come November 3rd, I get a seat on the board.
Uh-oh. All right. All right, welcome back. Sorry, internet went down, technical difficulties. The next question though I wanted to ask you guys is what are some of the moments that have stuck out during these last few months? Like when like a year from now, when you look back, like what's like one or two things that happened, good or bad, that that's gonna stick with you moving forward. And we'll start with Katie on this one.
Let me think. I think one was I got that endorsement from Eddie Garcia. That was super cool, the assembly member. I just kind of hit them up like, hey, can I get an endorsement? And they ended up putting out 2 mailers and donating funds to my campaign. So that was really cool. Definitely very humbled and like taken back by that. I didn't see that coming. So that's something. Another is, it's kind of a bad one, is I had somebody like flip out on me for one of my posts, and just took it the wrong way. And it's one of those that I definitely don't think I'll forget. But I will remember if elected and I have somebody running to never do that. And then I've never been like beat up on so much for people who I'm friends with in my entire life. And that's like really disheartening because it's by like it's definitely not by people who are my friends. It's from people who are looking out going, oh, I can't believe you're friends with this person and you're running for council because they think this and this. And I'm just like, wouldn't you not want to vote for me if I bailed on my friends and left, who I was, and since I was running for council and so that you just kind of really see, I think every time there's an election, you see the immaturity and the worst come out in people. And you see the things, obviously like JB had some things happen to him where it's like, man, I don't even want to do this because I don't want to put myself up for this. So just certain things like that. But moving forward, it's really easy you see people where it's really easy. They try to run a smear campaign and, don't want to talk about the issues at all. So.
Yeah, no, 9 more days. We're all going to forget that we all hated each other. After,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no, but really, it does, and it's been tough, right? To hear things and uh, it's and put yourself out there. Now hear things about yourself, and sometimes you learn things about. Like I didn't know I was that. I didn't know. So it's been pretty wild. And so, Andrew, what about you? What's some few things, good or bad, that's happened to you that's going to stick with you?
Absolutely. Well, just connecting with my dad a lot, in the sense of, we've put up all of our banners together. JB showed us how to put up our first sign, him and his dad. And from there, my dad and we literally blanketed El Centro. And, speaking to that point, I remember I ordered my initial yard signs, and I remembered I'd ordered 125. And I was just thinking, I told my mom, like, I think I ordered too many. Who's going to want a yard sign of mine?
Yeah,
this
right.
Was before I was connected to, really connected to the community. And I ran out of my first 125 yard signs in 24 hours, right? Between my pops and I and my big brother, we literally went and put them up everywhere. And I recall one evening in particular, it was like the worst evening of putting up banners, right? So we have, my dad drives a little 6-shift truck, right? And, oftentimes people, they mistake him as like my worker, right? They're like, oh, that's one of Andrew's workers. I'm like, that's my dad, okay? Right? And so we're in this little truck, we're putting up signs, and we're exhausted at this point, right? We've hit like the end of the day, the end of the evening. We're just about done. We're wrapping it up. We're putting up a sign right there in front of Sonic's on the fence right there in front of Target. And after we put it up, this was a 4x8 that we put up. We said, well, let's drive around. Let's get onto the highway and let's drive and pass right by so we could see if it looks good. We get in this truck and we start driving, and then we just hear a whoosh. We're like, what was that? And we look in the back. My dad's like, the first thing he said, Andrew, your sign flew out. 4x4 just flew out, right? Flew out in the middle of the night.
That's funny.
And my dad, he's super protective. I'm 30 years old and still treats me like a little kid sometimes. He's like, Mijo, go over there, go to the side. Don't go for it. So he parked in the parking lot, literally I just see him jog to get the 4x4. We put it in the truck, right? We finally get back, and we're like, oh, finally, we can relax. And about a block away from our home, we get pulled over. Because my dad's tail light went out, right? The fuse went out, and he got a fix-it ticket. And at this point, my dad and I were just like, oh, things can't get any worse, right? But it's those moments, because I'll remember them, I'll cherish them forever. And I'll remember my dad and I that evening where the sign flew out, and then we got a fix-it ticket. And at the same time, just like I said, having fun with it and connecting with my family and the community. It's definitely been a great experience. I mean, obviously, I've had obstacles just like everyone, but definitely we've gone through them, and just happy to wrap it up so I can focus on whatever the next job is.
Yeah.
Putting up signs
Taking them down.
in itself, I learned that really quick.
Oh yeah, you guys gotta take them down still.
Oh, dude, I was like, no, they have to go out the first day the first night at midnight when they go. And it's me, my dad, and my brother at midnight, like putting these signs up. And we didn't have like a steak pounder, nothing. My dad had his sledgehammers, so we're like trying to pound these steaks in. We left the sign at one place. We left the jig a couple times after we'd already clipped it, just going back, and it's like 1 a.m. They're like pissed. Katie, you've got enough signs up for tonight. We'll do them tomorrow.
It's funny. JB, which moment
I don't know what
It's
you're
like-
talking about. I can't think of anything memorable. It's been super
It
boring.
must
and
be nice to have such a low key, quiet election, you know.
Uneventful. Yeah. So we started out a year ago at this point, and so I guess just the general overview is in the last election we started out. I think generally to most people coming out of nowhere, and not really given a lot of credibility based on how unusual we are as a campaign, just generally, and then mostly ignored for the most part. Not so in the community, but especially by the powers that be. And then as things got closer, we certainly drew a lot of their attention as it became clear what the trajectory was of the election, and ultimately culminating on March 3rd, where we really took it away in ways that I was really blown away by. All due to the support of the community. And then right after the election, I got super sick for a while. And then right after I got unsick, the coronavirus hit. And then everything just completely shut down. And then it was trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to run an election for November? Given this unusual circumstance now that the state, because they moved it to March primaries instead of June, so that added on many more months of waiting. And then given our climate in the summers here, 120-degree afternoons in July and August, would have loved, well, not really loved, but I would have gone out and door knocked and that sort of thing to just keep the campaign going. But with the whole virus situation and Imperial County being the epicenter of the pandemic at that point, at least in California, that wasn't really a feasible option at that time. And add to that all the other events that were going on across the country all throughout the summer. So the sort of the IID campaign kind of faded into the background for a time, and then started back up late July, and especially August, when we had the wonderful surprise of having to put our signs up when it was 117 degrees outside, because of some other very eager candidates drawing outside the lines of the rules, but that's fine. And so that really kicked things off again, and things were pretty boring, pretty normal, surprisingly quiet. And then, we had some unexpected, interesting events transpire. I was just thinking about that actually this morning, which was we had all kinds of stuff lobbed at us. We knew that things were going to be coming from the other sides. We thought it was important just to focus on the issues ourselves. And even as we were kind of maligned in various ways, we felt it was important to stay above board and be a model in terms of our behavior and activities. And so we maintained that, and kind of all the sort of ugliness that came about over that period of time, it all kind of ebbed away. It was certainly, I was having 4 or 3 hour sleep a night during that whole period, but everything got better very quickly, and we ramped things back up, and it's completely in the rearview mirror now. I even forget about it myself. Certainly didn't forget about that time, but I think people have completely looked past that, and really moved on and have refocused on the issues, which is keeping our water here, not raising our power bills, not making vague statements about keeping our rates low, but actually not raising them over the next 4 years, and then meaningfully acting on the Salton Sea, including doing the hard things that are not necessarily the political popular ones. But through all that, in addition to stopping the San Diego pipeline, which apparently is a hoax, it's been an interesting ride, to say the least. And but we're 9 days away, and I think people are pretty jazzed and excited. It's hard for me to go anywhere. I don't even wear my little JB, it's on this side, JB branded mask nowadays, just because I want to, go to the grocery store being a normal person, and people still recognize and chit chat and stuff like that, which is cool.
Yeah, man, you had like a rough 2 weeks. Like, there's a period where it's like, man, but you guys have all ran like very effective campaigns, and there is no blueprint. I think some people might think like, oh, like we're checking off you guys have been checking off boxes, but You guys have just been unconventional, unique to your communities, unique to yourselves, your own identities and personalities and issues. And I think that's what's kind of been really cool to see all three of you run really good campaigns and just really get to know the community and just focus on issues. So um, we'll finish it up with any last message you want to give to anyone listening. And I think we start. I think it's Andrew. Andrew, any final thoughts that you want to give to people, voters, before as we're in the single digit days away from election?
Absolutely. Well, the reality is that we have a local teacher that is keynoting the largest conference in California, specifically for educational technology, which is also a candidate, right, for the Centro Elementary School Board, the first Imperial Valley native to ever keynote this conference. We have roughly 2,000 viewers from across the US, specifically though a pocket of California educators who are those innovators. And I'm keynoting this event, right? And I think that just speaks to my commitment to education, specifically to innovating 21st century education. And at the same time, I just invite anyone to, ask me questions. I'm always open to dialogue. I've given my phone number multiple times. I'm pretty accessible. I think, once you get to know me, once you get to understand the Andrew Arevalo, right, on a more personal level, you'll see that I'm the best candidate for this position. And with that being said, just thank you for the community, for the support I've received thus far. It's been absolutely humbling. And, I'm excited regardless of the outcome, because I'm reconnected back with my home and with the community. And I thank you. Thank you for the support, everyone.
Awesome. You would, man. You would hype yourself up, but then also like tying the community back. You're good, man. You're natural, man.
Take a
Yeah,
swig of that drink.
envious.
Very humble.
No, you're right though. He was huge, man, and for you to do that, and it wasn't like you were planning on aligning with election day. And no, it's all just organically, all just things happen the way
all
they're
organic stress, right?
I feel you. I feel you. JB, any final thoughts, messages you want to get out to the community?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a very long journey. It's coming to a close at this point, and I'm extraordinarily grateful for all of the people in El Centro, Heber, Sealy, and really beyond that, and all that they've done to make this possible. You're just one person as a candidate, but outside of that one person is a team of people that offer their support and their help to get the message out and to move the whole campaign forward. And then, but just the candidate and then those helping to be part of that cause are only two parts of it. The much bigger issues is the people who go out and vote. And it's so important this election. We're going to have lots of people turning out because they're very interested in the presidential election. But there's only so much we can do with our votes here in Imperial County in the context of the larger state of California, or just of one town and one county and one state in terms of the presidency. But your vote is so incredibly important when it comes to our education, when it comes to quality of life in cities, or especially in keeping Imperial Valley's water in Imperial Valley and making sure that the IID is run efficiently and for the interest of the people, not necessarily for the interest of a handful of people who are looking to do very well for themselves off of the backs of other people. And so every single vote makes a difference, especially at the local level, and I believe especially so at IID. And so I'm really so incredibly grateful and thankful to the people of Heber, El Centro, and Sealy for all their support over these past 12 months at this point, for their support in the March election. And we hope and that with their support that we'll achieve that same level of support, if not greater, in this November election in just a few days.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And Katie, final thoughts to the people of Imperial and the Valley wide.
Yeah, I just want to thank them all for their support. It's been overwhelming. for me, it's really weird. It's been really weird to go to the store and people be like, hey, I saw your video on Facebook, or hey, I really like your campaign issue. That's a lot of things like the Liberty Road homes, abandoned developments. That's actually an issue that I like opened, and there was so much more issues going on with it than what I actually saw. And I'd never heard of all the transients living there, how the people who their houses back up to it, they're like, I can't even let my kids play outside, feel safe about them because they have transients and this, homeless population right there, really messing, like, kind of sometimes like harassing these people in their homes, and they're nice homes right there. So I felt like I opened Pandora's box a little bit with that one. And so that issue kind of went, it was like definitely something I wanted to fix. And now it's kind of like up here on the list. And so for me, that's kind of why you got to ask the hard questions. That's why you got to poke at these issues, because even though you're going to get backlash every time you poke at an issue. People take it very personal, especially if ones who've, worked in the community and worked to make it better. And, but you got to be transparent and tell where you're at with these issues, because a lot of people, they don't know that there's a plan in place, and they don't know how long it takes, and they just want to feel like their voice is heard. So even just being like a venting sound box to somebody sometimes kind of makes them feel better, but it makes you look at things from their perspective. And so that's been a really big eye opener. So another thing is, just having to do the hard work, having to do the awkward work and the uncomfortable work, and trying to stay true to yourself, because especially like for me, like when I was doing like endorsement videos, or not videos, interviews, how they want you to answer their questions, because they're very vocal about it, right? They want you to 100% agree with your views. And I see where it could be very easy for politicians who aren't strong on, no, this is what I believe, just going and give these people the answers they want because they want this endorsement so bad. And for me, I was like, no, I know this isn't the way you're going to answer it, but this is what you're going to get with me, because I'm going to stay true to myself. And so that's something like I promised myself and like everybody around me is, when I run for office and if elected, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to be better than I was. I'm not going to just become this politician that looks at issues like just a government official and not a member of the community. So I think that's where you get a lot of, kind of like when they talk about like term limits and stuff like that, you get so wrapped into looking at things as a government official and not necessarily a member of the community. So that's been something that I've tried really hard to stay true to myself on. Overall, the campaign, I didn't realize it's going to be like so distracting, I guess. Not distracting, but I know you guys can think about it as when you're in campaign mode, you are in campaign mode like 24/7. And every second that you have to relax, you're like, oh my gosh, no, I can't relax right now. I could be doing this for my campaign right now. I need to be making, my next thing, my next Facebook post or my next video, or I could be going door knocking right now. And it's been really hard to turn it off and been distracting. And so I just keep telling myself, like, I know there's gonna be a lot of work ahead of me if elected, but it's definitely not gonna be something I'm gonna be like obsessed about, and where the time you can put into it is limitless. So I'm looking forward to getting back on track and actually making progress and not just talking about doing certain things. So.
No, yeah, and you're right. Sometimes half of the battle is just getting the conversation started on issues like San Diego pipeline. I never, education and the state of it in our county, and how we need to have a bigger focus on that. City issues within, issues within cities and within sub communities of a city. And so I'm excited. I really am. I want to thank you all three for doing this, and also just putting yourselves out there. I'm gonna miss kind of the campaign, though. I'm not gonna lie. That kind of.
In 2
Says somebody who hasn't campaigned for 2 years.
Yeah, not running. I'm gonna miss seeing you guys stress out, and I'm gonna miss seeing all the bad things said about you guys on Facebook.
Right?
Jill, this is for you.
Yeah, you get the front row to me every day at work. You get to see the stress on my face and all of that.
Yeah,
8 hours a day.
Well, I'm enjoying it, and I'm pulling for you guys. I feel for you, and I think you all are going to be successful in 9 days. And so thank you guys, and I'll be linking all your info on the page. And best of luck. Thank you all. We'll stop recording.